Welcome to Think Smart with TMFG. I'm Mike Connon. I'm here with John Iocanetti, financial advisor with the McClelland Financial Group of Assante Capital Management. Today we're going to be talking about, AI in general. We talk a lot about ChatGPT is where people have generally got their first exposure to really what AI can do. So it turns out after using this and after seeing how it is, I guess it's a bit of a different format than we originally thought it is, isn't it? Or a bit different uses.
Yeah. It's completely expanded. And I guess that's the nature of ChatGPT as well, is it's constantly learning, right? So it's constantly improving and constantly getting better, where maybe originally when it first came out, the thought was, it's going to be something that students will use to get through actually doing any sort of research papers or anything like that in school. But it's expanded so much beyond that. And that's kind of what AI is in general. It's constantly improving. It's constantly learning. And I saw the other day, just in terms of an article, there's about 800 million confirmed users for ChatGPT. And that's 10% of the world's population
Is actually using that.
Is using ChatGPT. And there's been so many advances and there's so many changes that have been going on within ChatGPT that new updates are now being able to create AI images, or you have the ability to upload a file that ChatGPT can do a full analysis.
You just use the free version. Now there's pay for versions too that offer different options. And I mean, the information when we started, I think it was 2 years old. The information, so it used to be old information. Now it's getting closer to up to date. And depending if you use a pay for version, I think if you use a pay for version, you get more current information from it.
That's exactly it.
So it's advanced a lot. When we first started, there really was no competition. You continue to see different competition. OpenAI's become a big company. Yeah. There's going to be competition. It seems that ChatGPT is the leader now, but there may be other things. The other thing to get people confused, AI is not ChatGPT, right? So
much more than that.
People get a little bit confused because that's one way to use AI. AI has been around for many years, and it's been used in many different programs. ChatGPT was a great interface to. I'll describe it as an interface to AI with great vocal recognition software that brought the ability of AI to the public in a very easy manner, I guess would be the best description of it.
That's exactly it. ChatGPT is that exposure to the average person now has the ability to have exposure towards AI. But AI has been around for a long time. And in terms of like the industries that it's been used, it's a huge revelation for the healthcare industry. AI now is being utilized for detection of diseases or being able to detect for different things like cancer or stroke. And it's being used, to detect more early and more accurately than ever before. So these are some of the good uses of AI in terms of even for businesses and even for robotics. One of my close friends works for Amazon. All he does is coding for their warehouses.
Yeah.
Their warehouses are pretty close to entirely robotic. It's perfectly set up where the shelves are moving, not the people. And it's absolutely incredible, but AI is what helps create that.
I always... going back to the history of before we had the term AI, there was always a famous thing. If you'd like to read about business and manufacturing, I don't know if anyone does like to read that, but that's what you get off reading that stuff. There was some interesting things about Walmart. One of Walmart's keys, its inventory control, is through the roof. And it was actually would get weather forecasts going out the next week. So if they know it's going to be raining next week in Chicago, they will increase their umbrella inventories that are heading over to Chicago to have them prepared for that rainstorm that's coming. And when you look at how the advancements have worked, and this has been going on for, again, many years, to give companies strategic advantages in the workplace using this AI.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And obviously now we see it a lot more just in terms of some other different industries, like even transportation. Like think about all the cars that we purchase now with the technology that's built in there. There's obviously self-driving cars, and some people think of the Teslas, but then there's also park assist on just your average everyday car, like a Ford will have park assist. And that's all AI functionality that's going to be built into these cars nowadays. Even for businesses, say ChatGPT, because the average probably worker right now probably has ChatGPT open in a tab somewhere. But even Microsoft Office has gotten involved with Microsoft Copilot. We're big proponents of the use of Grammarly. So a lot of AI functionality there in terms of, we're numbers people, but grammar, maybe not our forte. So we have someone come in and step up, and that's the AI functionality there.
When we write these podcasts, a lot of times we'll go back to AI and ask for some help with subjects. and it will generally give us some pieces that we never thought of before.
Yeah.
Because it's just a great research tool. For legal documents, incredible to write legal documents. I always say when you're doing a will, have a lawyer, pretty incredible what ChatGPT can do with those type of documents. I mean, it's always limited by the knowledge of the user and what you ask it to do. That's the one issue in it, but it can do some incredible work on research. I remember reading somewhere, I don't want to give actual numbers, but it was the first time you ask it a question, it has an IQ of about 140 to 150. The second time it goes through, it's an IQ of about 180. And it was somewhere in those ranges that they were talking about. And it just says it's very tough for any human being to compete with the knowledge base, obviously, that it has.
Yeah, exactly. It's prevalent in every sort of industry. But, as anything else in life, as things start to become really good, then there's also the other side of that, and there's some concerns that may be coming of it. So maybe you'd start there. Like, what are some of the concerns?
Well, last time Rob and myself were speaking, we were worried about kids cheating on exams. Seemed to be the biggest concern. But I think the concerns may have moved a bit beyond people cheating on exams.
That is true.
So, it's odd because it leads individuals to seek or interpret information in a way that confirms their preconceptions. I was watching I hate to say I was watching a South Park episode the other day, but they really went at AI. And it was funny. What they would do is he would ask it a question and say what he wanted to do, and it immediately answers everything. Oh, that's a wonderful idea. And will proceed to give you an action plan. No matter how bad your idea is, it will give you a full action plan to help to achieve that idea that you gave it. And it's not really judging the merit of the idea. And that's what happens a lot of times with people is they use AI. They want a specific result, and AI will give you whatever result you want, whether it's a right, wrong, good, or bad.
Yeah. Advice is not AI's forte. They're not going to be able to turn you away from an idea that you have that might not be good. And unfortunately, we're starting to see a lot of this come up even in the news cycle. There's been a lot of young teens that have turned to AI when they have mental health issues. And unfortunately, sometimes AI continues to reaffirm their thoughts. And we've had unfortunately, some Americans that had committed suicide. And it has all stemmed back to advice that ChatGPT had been providing and kind of just reaffirming what they already know in terms of their own mental health issues. So there's a lot of negative that can come with it when used incorrectly, like any other tool.
It only knows the facts you give it.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's one advantage we've always say we like having clients sit in front of us because a lot of times you can feel out what's reality, what is opinionated, and you can sort of feel out the real situation. ChatGPT doesn't have that advantage. Whatever you say, it takes as 100% solid fact and works with that. And that can be a problem.
So like anything else, there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons that come along with it. It's a tool like anything else. And it is a tool that we are using even within the finance industry that we continue to use. Mike, you alluded to it previously. If you have writer's block and you need to come up with content ideas for a podcast or for a YouTube video or even our articles, ChatGPT is fantastic in being able to provide that. Is it going to be able to write the article for you and be 100% accurate? Probably not. You probably shouldn't because they don't know all the facts, but they can provide a hell of a lot of good ideas. And to some extent, maybe not with ChatGPT, but the use of artificial intelligence to be able to monitor 1,000 households' portfolios, being able to program a software that can tell when a portfolio is off balance. Jessica is the one who does our portfolio rebalancing. It's going to be very difficult for her to monitor 1,000 different portfolios every single day. Technology helps us with that.
Yep. And that's been going on in here for probably about 10 years now.
Yeah.
We've had that almost AI behind the scenes looking at what's going on in everyone's portfolio. And let's just keep better on top of things.
Exactly. There is a lot that we can utilize with the systems around us, and that is grained with AI in terms of our back office. So there's a lot of things that do help free up time for us.
When we do a Zoom meeting now, AI keeps track of it.
Yeah.
And they'll give us a breakdown of everything we talked about in the meeting and summarize at the end of all the important details and the action plan or to-do list and tasks. I got to say, I read through them. There's some small mistakes in them, but they're incredible.
Yeah.
The amount of accuracy they have, what they pick up from the conversations, it's a better meeting note than anyone could ever possibly do.
Yeah. I guess the question is, what can the future hold for AI and as that continues to evolve? And being myself with writer's block, I figured I'd just ask AI. and figured what they would say. And I asked it for what's the best case scenario and worst case scenario for how the humans can continue to interact with AI going forward. And it put a pretty good perspective on it. So I'll start with the good case scenario.
Yep.
So good case scenario is AI is used with the right intentions and it aligns with human goals and values. Education and healthcare can be scaled to all people, regardless of income or social class. There could be quick advancement in science, climate, energy issues that we may face. And for humans, work becomes more creative and meaningful, and AI is able to step in and do the more repetitive or dangerous jobs that humans might have to do now. That's the best case scenario. What about the worst case scenario, Mike?
Well, I guess the problem is used with bad intentions, weapons or war, continued misinformation and breakdown of what's true and not, because AI can't tell the truth. They can just tell you what's written.
Exactly.
They're not giving you opinions. AI takes people's jobs and mass unemployment for people. So if you're losing jobs and you're not having a situation where you're creating, it's nice to take stagnant jobs and replace them with AI, but you need to make sure that they're being replaced with jobs that are useful.
Exactly.
Because we do have a worry over AI has been a huge concern over how many people have been laid off in the last year over AI replacing their positions. You know, some people, the companies look at it as a positive side of things. We see record profits coming out from companies. A lot of it is AI related.
Yeah,
and those profits are because they don't need the same amount of people at high salaries, high benefits, high cost of space, all these different things that of a cost of employee. If it gets replaced with AI, it can greatly reduce the expenses for a company. But again, what effects is that going to have on the labor force long term?
Yeah.
And, you know, there's mass surveillance and censorship. It can lead to abuse of power. You know, we watch a lot of stuff that goes on in the U.S. and with a lot of false information going on. And, you know, the news has become very difficult. It's even AI, when I go and watch newsreels, half of them are made up through AI.
Yeah.
So, you know, you see Elon Musk telling you what to do. You don't know. Most things won't be Elon Musk. It's an AI-generated version of them. So it's really taken away from our reality.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of interesting to see AI's own take on what's the best case or worst case scenario. And I guess personally, when I went through that, I see a lot of what's going on today is coming out of the best case scenario. You know, we are having these healthcare advancements. We are having the ability for news and information to be spread to all different parts of the world. There's a very big equality that comes along with automated AI and artificial intelligence. But we are seeing a lot of what's in the bad scenario also begin to pop up as well. So it feels like we're at a crossways in terms of being able to take some of the good and take some of the bad, and where we go from here is another question.
As with everything, it's really understanding it, and you can't turn off your brain and just say, you know, AI is going to take off the future because it's going to have a disastrous result. Your brain is still required in every let's say transaction or anything that goes on or a decision. Your brain is still required, and that's where people have to learn. I guess the limitations of AI is it can give you a lot of information, but you're still needed to make those final decisions.
Yeah.
Now that brings us to the end of another podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.